Lana.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And this is Teddy! We live in Hollywood, California. I am an actress. I'm also a filmmaker and a composer and a sound designer.
I am an actor, and I'm also getting into voiceover now.
We have decided that we want to move out of Los Angeles, go back to the East Coast, and start a small farm. Brian and I actually met on one of our film productions.
Called Behold!
Behold! Brian played my not-so-nice husband. Ever since we shot that film, we have been together.
Yeah, I had no idea that that movie was going to change my life in the most unexpected way.
That is perfect.
It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Being part of that and meeting you, and now we're going to have this incredible life together.
While Hollywood is still generally a pretty thriving place for entertainment, things have changed a lot here since COVID, since the writer's strikes, since the union strikes. The amount of work is a lot less. And so we have found ourselves in a situation where we can't really make a living. We can't really afford to live in Los Angeles with the prices of everything being so high, gas at over $5 a gallon, eggs at over $12 a dozen, and our rent, which is almost $4,000 a month for a modest 2-bedroom apartment.
But for like your average actor, I think we are booking more than...
We are busy.
Yeah, and it's just not enough.
We are busy, but it just isn't enough to sustain. And it's certainly not enough to save for our futures. We have been sort of shifting our goals, talking about next steps for us in our relationship, starting a new life, having a house, maybe starting a family.
Can't do that here.
Not on the wages that we make.
No.
I grew up in Hatfield, Massachusetts, which is a really small rural farm town. Our house was surrounded by horses, cucumber fields. I worked in the fields briefly. I rode the horses. We had a goat named Daisy May, and it was just a really wonderful place to grow up, and I am a lover of nature. We have been sort of setting our sights on a different kind of life where we can go back to my farming roots, the things that really open up my soul and give me joy.
I'm there with you. We just needed massive change of pace in our lives, and in order to have the family that we desire, that's just where we have to be.
And not hear sirens like this anymore.
Not hear sirens like this. I'm really ready to get my hands dirty and get to do this with you and learn how to make it all happen.
I'm going to teach Brian how to be a farmer.
Yeah, you are.
But that's not to say that I know everything. In fact, this journey is going to be a big learning experience for both of us. And that's why we want to make this YouTube series. As we learn and as we discover the challenges and the successes of becoming small homesteaders, we want to also take you on this journey and teach you everything that we learn along the way. What I know about gardening and farming, I do think it's learnable. Anybody can have a green thumb. If you love animals, you can learn to care for animals. And we're starting small so that we can keep it easy, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a huge challenge for us. Sure. So I'm going to teach Brian everything that I know, and in the course of that, I'm going to be learning new things, and we're going to be learning those things together. And we're going to teach everything that we do learn to everyone out there, because homesteading is something that people are interested in. It's a growing obsession. If you look on YouTube right now, you'll see so many videos of chicken farmers and goat farmers and people who are doing the same thing, people who are retreating from the cities and saying, we want to go back in time a little bit and start a simpler life. We're gonna get so buff.
Yeah, we are. I'm ready for it.
We're gonna get so buff.
We really want you guys to come along and learn along with me. I'm really excited to be living off our land essentially and our animals, and kind of taking a massive step back and not relying so much on what we get at the store every day. Everything's gonna be so much more rewarding and delicious when we've put in the work and effort.
The fruits of our labor.
The fruits of our labor, literally.
Farm to table is something that I just absolutely love. So I want to kind of bring that farm to table right to our home, eat off of our land, grow our own vegetables. We have a plan to grow fields of lavender and also raise bees. which is something I've never done and know very little about. But we want to have honey, and when those bees are feeding off of our lavender, it's going to be lavender honey, and lavender is one of my absolute favorite herbs. We also plan on having some laying hens. We're gonna start with just a few, I think, in the beginning, but we wanna see what it's like to bring in our own fresh eggs, and you know the cost of eggs right now is crazy. So it'll be really nice to have our own with that really deep orange yolk.
Oh, yeah.
We also want to get a couple of milking goats. Goat's milk has a lot of nutritional properties. You can make so much with goat milk: soaps, lotions, yogurt, goat butter,
Only
cheese.
the finest things in life.
Yeah, goat cheese. I love goat cheese. Now, of course, all of these things are very idealistic. We don't know if it's going to work out.
Oh no.
We could end up with some goats that don't want to give us milk, chickens that don't want to lay eggs.
I'll wrestle him.
Teddy could eat a chicken for all we know.
Good. It's
We
impossible.
really hope that doesn't happen. But we're also going to have to integrate Teddy into a farm life, which is something that will be a unique experience. Ideally, we don't need a whole lot of land to accomplish the goals that we have. And so we're looking for something that's around 2 acres. If the land is ripe for farming, we can actually accomplish everything that we need to, have the space to work around in. And we're starting on the small side because we don't know what we're doing yet. And I don't want us to be overwhelmed by too much land or too much responsibility.
I think we're just the right amount of ambitious right now.
Yeah. Areas that we're looking in right now, Southern Virginia and parts of North Carolina. While I am from New England, and so is my family, they all relocated to North Carolina years back. I lived there for a little while in the Triangle area. It's very green, it's very lush, lots of trees, but I also really love the mountains, that Appalachian region by Southern Virginia and Northern North Carolina, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Brian and I love mountains.
Oh yeah, we do. And I've been out there a few times now already. That's actually where we shot Behold. I am so excited to live there. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been, and the trees, you actually get seasons.
Lakes.
What are seasons when you live in California, you know?
We're looking at being able to buy a property for probably somewhere between $250,000 and $350,000. The top of our budget is about $350,000, and that's hoping that the house doesn't need much work, but that the land is really where we're going to focus all of our time and resources. So we actually did find a property in Southern Virginia that looked really good. It was 10 acres, and it was all very farmable, flat land.
Yeah, we really went hard on the getting away from people thing because it was really in the middle of nowhere, and it would have been 40 minutes to like the nearest Target was like the big hopping thing.
Yeah,
That was like
Walmart.
the closest thing to us, Walmart.
Yeah.
Like,
We put in an offer. The offer got accepted. We were in the process of scheduling the home inspection. We bought plane tickets to go out to see this place. And then we learned that it's so remote, there is no internet connectability in that area.
and for us to do what we want with voiceovers and self-tapes and everything, it takes a good connection to be able to do that. And that was the biggest
That's a deal
killer right
breaker.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as we want to be somewhat isolated and in nature and away from people, we still got to have our internet, unfortunately.
We do,
So-
we do. And also I started to get a little bit worried about, just like social life. One of the things that Brian and I do love about living in Hollywood is how easy it is to walk anywhere, and there's always something going on, whether it's a really great place to eat or go shopping or, go to, we actually, our local theater is Grom's Chinese Theater.
We just went last night.
So when we go to the movies, it's like we're right there in the heart of Hollywood. And there's people with snakes. There's great street food. I mean, it's a very exciting, very hopping place. And while we're tired of a lot of that, we do like our creature comforts. We like to be able to go out to have a nice meal, a cocktail, go to a place that has a thriving farmer's market. And so we're sort of changing our sights a little bit to see if we can find
A nice happy medium, right?
Right, the right property that still has the amount of land that we want, but is close enough to a city or a town that is thriving in some way where we can still enjoy our social life. Yeah. How do you feel about this immense life change?
Honestly, I've never been so open to change in my life. Usually I'm pretty safe and I have my routines. This is such an exciting opportunity. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and where that takes us, as long as I'm with you, I'm happy. And to live on a farm, that sounds so much fun. I've wanted to be an actor since I was so young, but I always knew if if acting wasn't what I ended up doing, I would want to do something with animals. This sounds like such an incredible opportunity to get to do that and get to really have both, you know, have my cake and eat it too kind of deal. And do it with the most beautiful person in the world. And, you know,
This guy.
I've never been more excited for anything in my life than to get to do this with you. And I'm going to be learning a lot. I'm going to be working really hard. And I'm so ready for it.
Kiss me, you fool.
Okay.
Mwah.
What about you? Any reservations or fears about all this?
No.
No.
It's time to do something that rewards me emotionally and in my soul in a way that I'm just not getting from the Hollywood rat race. Yeah. So what do you think, babe?
I'm so ready.
Are you gonna do it?
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna start a farm and we're gonna take you with us. This is our first YouTube channel. So we would love your support if you think that we're interesting at all and you want to go on this adventure with us. Like, follow,
Comment, subscribe,
subscribe,
all that good stuff.
share with your friends.
Come along for the journey. We're really excited to share our lives with you guys.
Teddy,
We hope you come along.
come here.
Teddy?
Teddy,
Well.
Teddy, are you ready for chickens?
Oh, Teddy, would you like?
Are you ready
Some goats?
for goats?
Are you a goat?
Are you ready to run in nature all day long and never get tired?
And not be cooped up. Whoa.
Whoa! And not be cooped up
And not be
anymore
cooped
in
up
an
in an
apartment?